Ahsoka's fate at the end of the Rebels Season 2 finale was one of the biggest cliffhangers in Star Wars since the reveal Darth Vader was Luke's father in Empire Strikes Back. The last we see of Ahsoka in the finale, she appears to be walking into the depths of a Sith temple with an injured Vader stumbling out of the temple himself. Some have said this last shot of Ahsoka is more figurative than what is actually occurring and that it should not be taken as literal, while others have suggested Ahsoka injured Vader to the point where he was forced to exit Malachor and return at a later date to finish off the former apprentice of Anakin Skywalker. For the purpose of this video, I have constructed two predictions as to what we could potentially see from Ahsoka in Season 3 of Rebels. Before we begin with the predictions, I think it's important to briefly discuss statements Dave Filoni has said about the finale concerning Ahsoka. Filoni said the finale at this point is largely left up to the interpretation of the fans, and that the fate of Ahsoka is a question that needs to be answered eventually, just not anytime in the near future. A novel revolving around Ahsoka has been announced for later this year, but the time period in which that book takes place is said to be after Ahsoka's departure from the Jedi Order, and not during the time period in which Rebels takes place. With the statements by Filoni, I predict the fate of Ahsoka will be answered eventually, and they will answer it in the Rebels TV series somewhere down the line. I see the story of Ahsoka playing out one of two different ways in the series, one being that she survived and the other being that she died at the hands of Vader. I do, however, see two variants of the story if they choose the path of survival for the apprentice. Let's begin with the first variant of Ahsoka's survival, that being that for the time she is stranded and likely injured in the depths of the Sith Temple. The Sith Temple in the episode is a location of great sorrow and hardship and the perfect breeding ground for the dark side of the Force. The dark side exudes off of the very walls of the temple, and a weakened Ahsoka could potentially be susceptible to its influence. Currently, Ahsoka is labeled as a Grey Jedi, this being confirmed by her statements to Vader that she is no Jedi. I predict that with the influence of the temple and her sadness for Vader and the circumstances surrounding her situation, the dark side could corrupt her, transforming her into a dark Jedi of sorts. If Ahsoka does become a dark Jedi in Season 3 of Rebels, I think it would be a really interesting choice for the character. In the past, we have seen former Jedi become corrupted by places engulfed in the power of the dark side, my favorite example of this being Ashirad Het, when he entered a Sith temple and made the choice to give in to the dark side and study it, for the ultimate goal of destroying the Empire, Palpatine, and specifically Vader for his crimes against the Republic and the Jedi. The EU origin story of Het is actually quite similar to the scenario we find Ahsoka in currently. Similar to Het, Ahsoka could choose to follow a dark path for the ultimate goal of destroying the Empire. Again, similar to Het, Ahsoka was once a Jedi, but at the time of the possible turn of Ahsoka and turn of Het, neither considered themselves Jedi. The potential of having Ahsoka turn to the dark side could provide us all with a great story, and Ezra with another past mentor who fell, setting him up better for his turn to embrace the dark side. It could also set up a conflict between Ahsoka and Kanan, as Kanan chooses to maintain his stance as a Jedi, as I do not believe Kanan's core beliefs will be shaken, especially after his advancements in the Jedi way in Season 2. Overall, while I do see this as a possible way to take Ahsoka's character, it is somewhat unlikely, as while Ahsoka may not be a Jedi, she is still very much cemented in the light side of the Force. This leads into the other variant of Ahsoka's survival, that she actually is rescued later by either the Ghost Crew or by other means. If Ahsoka does survive and go down a dark path, however, I do not see it as a permanent one, and could play out similar to the way her turn was in the Mortis arc of the Clone Wars, with her eventually being turned back to the light by her friends. As a side note, the dark side corrupted Ahsoka in the Clone Wars was awesome, and I found her to be genuinely terrifying, and an older version of Ahsoka experiencing a turn like this could be just as scary, if not more so. I predict that if Ahsoka is alive, she is indeed stranded in the temple, as we saw Maul was based off of his statements to Ezra concerning him being there a long while attempting to attain the power to destroy the Empire and being unable to leave as a result. Now let's discuss my predictions if Ahsoka did actually die by Vader's blade. As I said earlier, even if Ahsoka died, I do believe we will see her again in the series because we need full closure for the character, and simply seeing her body or having another character address it will not be enough. Also, as said earlier, the fate will not be revealed immediately, but rather later down the line in the series. If Ahsoka does return, I think it will be in the form of a vision to either Ezra or Kanan, similar to the ones we saw in Season 2 with Kanan and the Inquisitor as the Jedi Temple Guard and Ahsoka's vision of Anakin and Vader. Ahsoka would likely appear to comfort Ezra or Kanan in a time of darkness and hardship where they feel all is lost, to instill the Jedi with hope for the future and the will to fight. I can also see Ahsoka appearing as a Force ghost to one of the characters, as we are unsure if she could have learned this ability. As a side note, a prediction for the upcoming Ahsoka novel, I do think we will see Ahsoka learn such an ability over the course of the book. Another option is seeing Ahsoka appear with Yoda and have her commune with him about the status of the galaxy and the Ghost crew. I would adore a scene like this and love the callback and similarities to Empire Strikes Back, with Yoda teaching Luke with the Force ghost of Obi-Wan looking after him. So there they are, my predictions for the future of Ahsoka when concerning the Rebels series. I do hold faith that Ahsoka will appear again in some regard, rather as a dark Jedi and potential future antagonist, or as a friend and teacher, whether she is alive or dead. I also hold faith that whatever path they choose to take the character on, they will deliver a satisfying end to her story and have her play a role in some regard in future installments of Rebels. As of currently, the mystery of Ahsoka continues, and I'm curious to hear your predictions for The Apprentice for Season 3 of Rebels and possibly even beyond. Also, tell me your predictions for what we could see from Ahsoka's novel, due out this October, and a quick side note for the novel is it was said we could possibly see an appearance from Maul and a duel between him and Ahsoka. How excited are you? And tell me how you think the entire story of both Rebels and Ahsoka will conclude. Thanks so much for watching, and may the Force be with you. Thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe and follow me on Twitter for updates on the channel. We also have a Patreon if you'd like to help contribute to the channel and gain access to some special features. Click the annotations on screen to watch my previous video or a mystery video. Links for all are in the description down below. May the Force be with you, and have a great day.